Hello, how's everybody doing? Hold on one second. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing? Sorry, we're kind of getting on this a little late. There we go. Sorry, we're kind of getting at this a little late. I had to put some warm clothes on because I think I'm getting a little fever from the vaccine, which, you know, is what it is. So we'll go ahead and get started in just a moment. I'm just going to pull up as soon as it comes up on Facebook anyway. As soon as it comes up on Facebook, so I'll be able to kind of follow you guys with when it comes to the questions and stuff. So like I said, tonight we're starting the workshop, Finding Purpose in the Midst. You'll be able to find the workbook for this part of the workshop under the files. So if you go under files, and then it's the first one, it should be the first file that you see, Finding Purpose in the Midst of Chronic and Rare Disease. You just pull that up. You can either print it out or you can write along in your journal. So the best, you're going to get the most out of this if you really dive in. You're going to get the most out of it if you really dive in to the questions, if you participate. That is how you're really going to get the most out of this workshop. And like I said, this workshop is a 4-part series. And tonight in this workshop, we're going to be focusing, the first thing that we're going to be focusing on are the feelings that we get when we're faced with our rare chronic disease or your situation, whatever it is. If you don't have a rare or chronic disease, it could be whatever situation that you're in. You don't have to have a rare or chronic disease to be able to participate in the workshop. And as a matter of fact, I encourage everybody to do so. So, sorry, I'm just taking a bite of cookie really quick. I don't know who's printing stuff out. But anyway, so all right. I have no idea where I'm at on here. Let's try this. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, I'm just pulling up the live on my computer. That way I can follow along with you guys. All right. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I slated about 2 hours for this. It's not necessarily going to take 2 hours, but that's what I slated because I really want to be able to do a deep dive into this stuff, and I didn't feel like an hour was enough. I really feel like it's important to do a deep dive into it. So we will go ahead and get started on finding your purpose in the midst of chronic and rare disease. And like I said, I started this workshop because we did an icebreaker. We did an icebreaker a couple weeks ago, but I was finding it like a central theme anyway, where a lot of people who on this group that are dealing with rare and chronic disease are really struggling to find their worth and their purpose amongst rare and chronic disease. And that was the central theme that I kept on finding. Right? So I really wanted to, I thought it was really necessary to try to break that, to work on breaking those limiting beliefs that you may have when it comes to the limiting beliefs that you may have when it comes to your rare and chronic disease. Now, don't get me wrong, we have to listen to our bodies. We have to do things a little bit differently. But that doesn't mean that just because we deal with rare and chronic disease or whatever situation you happen to be in, it doesn't mean that you don't have worth and purpose. So, when it comes to rare and chronic disease, we often find ourselves asking, what value do we have and what is our purpose? And because we unfortunately spend so much of our time having the world and our story revolve around our health and our physical limitations, we often find ourselves in a state of limbo, searching for any purpose in this life that has been unwillingly bestowed upon us. We find ourselves questioning our worth and our value often because of our physical limitations. It's so much more than that. So let's take some time to explore what it looks like to find your purpose and self-worth in the midst of rare and chronic disease. And first, I want to make it crystal clear. I want to make it crystal clear to each and every one of you, whether you're joining me on the replay or you're watching me live right now. Why is this being stupid? Why is my internet being stupid? I'm so sorry. Hold on once. Of course my internet would be stupid when I need it to not be stupid right now. And you know what? I'm going to plug my computer in. Okay. I want to make it really I want to be crystal clear with you guys, right? That each and every one of you, whether you're here right now, whether you're a part of the group, whether you're going to be joining on the replay, each and every one of you has immense value, worth, and purpose. I'm going to say that again because I need that to sink in. Each and every one of you has immense value, worth, and purpose. Sometimes you just have to tap into that endless well of amazingness that's you. And in order to tap into that endless well of awesomeness that you have, the gifts that you can share with the world, you have to first acknowledge and honor your feelings about yourself and the reason you have those feelings about yourself that you do, so that you can then release them and allowing those statements of worth and purpose to flow in. So we're going to take a look at subjects like limiting beliefs, looking at your past, looking at why you have the beliefs about yourself that you do, where they came from, and what it looks like to forgive in the midst of hurt. From there, we're going to work on finding your purpose and ultimate worth, and I know each and every one of you have. Again, every single one of you have purpose. Every single one of you have immense value, and every single one of you have worth. You just have to tap in and find it. And some days that's hard. And there are going to be some parts of this workshop that are going to be intense, and they are going to be deep, and there's going to be tears, and that is okay, because that is how we heal, and that is how we find our purpose, and that is how we come to realize our worth. So, we're going to get to the first question. So the first question is, what are the feelings that come to mind when you think of your rare and chronic disease or situation? And I don't want you to think about this. I only want you to write the first thoughts. When you think of your situation or rare and chronic disease, I want you to write down the first thoughts that come to your mind. Only the first thoughts that come to the forethought of your mind when this subject matter is brought to your attention. So we're going to take just a minute, and I want you guys to write down what thoughts and feelings come to mind when you think of your rare and chronic disease or situation. And then you are more than welcome to share your answers on here. But let's take a minute to write that down. And I'm not frozen, I promise. We're just taking a minute so you guys can write that down. So, Cheryl, you always say, why me? That's exactly where I was going to go. So with the first question, what are the first feelings that come to mind when you think of your rare and chronic diseases or situations? What comes to mind? Like, just throw some stuff out there. When you think of, when you're thinking about your medical conditions or your situations that you're in, what are some of the things that come to mind? What are some of the thoughts and feelings that come to mind for you guys? Cheryl said, why me? This is Shasta, this is so frustrating. I definitely, for me? Why am I going through this? So I just want to be okay. Exactly. So now I want you guys to take down what you wrote and thinking about the first question. So thinking about that first question, what physical manifestations or feelings arise? Cheryl, you want the old me back. You used to be a firefighter. Oh, wow. That's okay. Shasta, you feel bad that your family and girlfriend have to deal with this. So when going back to the first question, when you think of that first question, what feelings or physical manifestations arise when presented with that question? When you're presented with the question, you know, what feelings come to mind when you think of your medical conditions or situation? Angry and depressed. I said grieving. I grieve. I grieve when I think about it. And grieving is you need to understand that grieving what you're going through, grieving what you've lost due to your situation or medical conditions, that is perfectly normal and that is okay. So we all, all of us that deal with rare and chronic disease or even, whatever situation you're in, there's a grieving process and it doesn't happen all at once and it doesn't happen once. It's very cyclical. It will come in waxes and waves. And exactly. Grieving is absolutely a true feeling. It is absolutely a true feeling. And it is absolutely okay to grieve. It is okay to not be okay. One of the things that in order to begin a healing process, and in order to tap into that worth that you know you have, and in order to find that purpose that you know that you have, you know, one of the things is honoring and accepting what you're feeling. And it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to not be okay. Shasta, at first you didn't grieve, and then there was so much going on when you got your diagnosis that you didn't let, like, you know, when you're first getting diagnosed with all this stuff, especially if you have multiple conditions, you know, you're in and out of the, you know, you're in and out of doctors, in and out of hospital, test after test after test after test. And, you know, and then these diagnoses come rolling in and rolling. And a lot of times we don't have to, you know, or whatever your situation is, it just comes rolling in. And we don't sometimes have time to process what's going on at that moment. It's generally not until later, when things have maybe settled a little bit, that you start to process it, you know, and then it hits you like a ton of bricks, you know, and then it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you're like, holy crap. And then that's when the grieving begins. That's when these feelings that we're talking about right now begin. And Cheryl, I have these memories pop up on Facebook, and I had, and that happened, Cheryl, and that's okay. That's okay, because we've lost. You know, we've lost. There's stuff that, you know, there's stuff that we've lost, you know. I used to love rock climbing. I lived for it. I loved it. And I cried the day I had to sell my rock climbing equipment. I cried. Because I knew that was it. It wasn't going to happen again. You know, something that I loved, something that gave me joy, I lost because of a condition, you know, because of a medical conditions that I didn't ask for. And I grieved that. I got depressed. I got angry. And then, you know, it's slowly coming to a place of acceptance. You know, I will be very honest. I grieve that I'm alive sometimes. I am not supposed to be alive right now. I am not supposed to be alive. And there are times that I grieve it. And I get a lot of guilt. And I have to step back and say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm grieving. I need to sit in that. Why am I grieving that? Why am I feeling that way? And then, exactly, failure is another feeling. Hold on just 1 second. I gotta text my husband really quick. I'm so sorry. Hold on 1 second. I just have to text my ex-husband. Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry. Oh, he's already on it. Okay. Yeah, it's my husband is taking care of it. So, my husband's taking care of it. Um, but I want you guys to think about those first two questions, and I want you, you know, I want you to, hold on one second. I want you to think about those first two questions, you guys. Oh, it's okay, Cheryl. Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's a process, you know, but we still love each other very much. I want you guys to sit for a few minutes to contemplate these first two questions like we've been doing. And as you do this, make sure to focus. I want you to focus on your breath as you're doing this, because it's going to bring up a lot of feelings. It's going to bring up a lot of emotions, and it may even bring up some, ooh, my arm was not hurting until, wow, that really hurts. I got my first vaccine today. And now I'm starting to feel it. But as you do this, I want you to focus on the breath as you write down your answers, and I want you to meditate on these answers. And I want you to honor the feelings that you have. I want you to honor those feelings that are coming up. It's okay, because as you honor those feelings, you're going to release them. As you're honoring those feelings, you're going to release them. And be like, I honor these feelings. I know why they came up. It's okay. And it's okay to release them. So, but rah-rah, these feelings are going to keep resurfacing. What am I supposed to do with that? And you're right. They're going to keep on resurfacing. This isn't a one-time deal, you guys. This is a continual practice. It's a continual practice. And they will keep on resurfacing until they don't, whenever that is. And each time you're going to acknowledge those feelings, you're going to honor them, you're going to focus on your breath and breathe through it. Honor those feelings. Today, for example, today I am feeling guilty that I have not died yet, when I should be dead. I feel this way because of everything that's gone on, and I feel like my family doesn't deserve it. There is those are my feelings. Those are okay. But I know and understand that I am here for a reason. I am here for a purpose, whether I understand it or not. And you just do that whenever those feelings come up. You can't begin to see the immense worth that you have until you acknowledge the thoughts and the feelings that are keeping you from seeing your worth and experiencing your purpose. Cheryl, it is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but I grieve it because I think I grieve it, and I think I feel guilt because I was expecting to not be alive right now. And so I lived my life accordingly. I lived my life as if I was not going to be here now. And through everything, I lived my life as if I, was not going to be here now. And so, that's what I did, whether, at home, on social media, whatever it was. And so because I'm still, there are times that I have that guilt because I'm still here, and I'm like, well, crap, people expected me to be dead, and I'm not dead. And, and so there's a lot of feelings and guilt sometimes that goes with that. But I'm accepting those feelings, and I'm working through those feelings, and I'm learning to forgive myself, not for the guilt that I feel. Well, yeah, I'm learning to forgive myself for the guilt that I feel. Because yes, I did not expect to be alive today, but I am. And it is what it is. Despite what anybody else says. It is what it is. And I am here today. And there's a reason for it. And I have to accept that. So I want to repeat that just one more time, what I said before. You can't begin to see the immense worth that you have until you acknowledge the thoughts and the feelings that are keeping you from seeing your worth and experiencing your purpose. You can't begin to see that until you acknowledge the thoughts and feelings, honor them, those feelings that are keeping you from seeing your worth and experiencing your purpose. I really, really want you guys to sit in that. That's so important. That's so important for all of us, whether you're dealing with rare and chronic disease, whether you're not dealing with rare and chronic disease and you're dealing with a different situation. That is so important and so vital. In addition to acknowledging those feelings that are surrounding your situation, you also have to bring to the forefront and acknowledge the root behind what's causing you to have those feelings, to feel the way that you currently are. In order, it's just another way to be able to honor the feelings so you can move forward in your greatness. So with that being said, I want you to think about the following questions. So the first question is, when thinking about your condition or situation and the feelings it stirs up, where are those feelings coming from? And what I mean by this question is, what event or events, what was the precursor that planted those limiting beliefs that you have and the feelings that you currently have regarding your condition or situation? Was it something a loved one said? Was it a certain event? Was it social media? It could also be multiple instances that have stacked up over the years. So I want you to think about that, and I want you to write that down, whether you're writing it down on the paper, on the worksheets that you printed out, or on your journal. And I'll read the question again. When thinking about your condition or situation and the feelings that it stirs up, where are those feelings coming from? And what I mean by this question is, what event or events was the precursor that planted the limiting beliefs and feelings you currently have regarding your condition or situation? Was it something a loved one said? Was it a certain event? Was it social media? What was it? And it can also be multiple instances that have stacked up throughout the year. So I want you guys to take a minute and think about that and write that down, and then we'll discuss that. So we'll take about just a minute or two to really think about that and sit in that and write that down, and then we'll discuss it. So what'd you guys put? If you want to talk about it. So the last question, where do you think those feelings that you're having are coming from? I know for me, I've said a lot of the feelings that I have come from Katie confirmation from doctors. I know for me, it's come from people not believing me, doctors not believing me, having to be in and out of hospitals, in and out of doctor's appointments, multiple tests. Social media really did a number on me these last few months. Absolutely. I would absolutely say, you know, the stuff involving the social media, you know, from November to January, it did a number on me. So it really did, like, it did a number on me. And it really kind of knocked the wind out of my sails. Social media and physicians. Yeah, because you have people that are, you know, people that don't even know you, that are, you know, that are telling you that you're faking and you're lying and you're attention seeking and you're malingering and you're Munchausen's and you're frauding and you're scamming and, you know, and while, yes, it shouldn't matter, you know, what people who don't even know you think, it still does a number on you because we're human. We're human. We're only human. So of course it's going to affect. Of course it's going to affect you. And that's okay. You know, people say, oh, well, get over it. Don't pay attention to what people say on social media. It hurts or they think it's not a big deal. Exactly. Exactly. You know, but it is. It is. And it's because we're human. So it's because we're human. We can't just get over it. You know, getting to a point, I can tell you for myself, getting to a point where I quit giving a crap what people on social media think, it took a lot of work to get there. And I still, you know, I still have to work it sometimes. I still have to work it. I still have to, you know, I still have to go back and be like, why does it matter what these people think? Why does it matter what my DNA buddies think? Why does it, you know, you find out very fast in situations like these and in situations of severe sickness, chronic sickness, or, you know, just a really bad situation, you find out really fast who your tribe is. You find out very fast who your tribe is. You find out who your tribe is. Katie, for you, it's harder because you're a mental health therapist. I can only imagine. You know, and I can only imagine that. You know, but because you're a therapist, it doesn't make it any, you know, it doesn't make it any less valid what you're going through. And it doesn't make those feelings any less valid. And that's what we have to, learn to understand. You know, it doesn't make those feelings any less valid, you know. Oh, it's good to see you, Cassandra. It's good to see you, sweetie. I'll see you later. Um, oh, you're tuning in. I thought you said you were turning in. Oh my gosh. Squirrel. um, you know, but it doesn't make it any less valid that, you know, whether you're a medical professional or a therapist or layperson or whatever it is, you know, I was raised, you know, get on with it. You bloody get on with it. You know, you don't have feelings, you don't have thoughts, you bloody get on with it. You pick yourself up by the bootstraps, yada, 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 yada. But it doesn't make those feelings go away. It doesn't make them any less valid, you know. Cheryl, yours is hearing from your doctors, then my family not believing me and having to prove your disabilities. Yeah. You know, so now that you know, so now that we've got, you know, like we've got a good list of stuff here, you guys. And now that we've got that list of stuff, I want you guys, the answer that you give is the reason you have the limiting beliefs about yourself and your condition or your situation that you do. And in order to start working to eliminate those limiting beliefs, we first have to understand and honor where they came from. So we know where they came from. We're talking about that right now, right? Hold on one second. I just gotta text Josh. Oh crap, he's going to Smashburger. Hold on one second. I gotta text Josh again. He's taking our daughter to just get out of the house, and they're going to Smashburger. I was like, oh, truffle fries. And that really awesome, they have this like amazing like mushroom burger that is to die for. That it's gonna make me so sick. It's, oh my god, it's gonna make me so sick, but it is worth it. It is worth the price of admission. Your family finally realized when you got 100% disability, Cheryl. I think I call them my DNA buddies because I don't even talk to them anymore. I talk to my brother and I talk to my aunt, and that's it. So, but, you know, even being in hospice, like my DNA buddies still weren't on board because they suck, you know. Now I know because they suck. Like you know. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. Okay. But it's why we have the limiting beliefs that we do, you guys. It's why we have the limiting beliefs that we do. you know, these feelings and where they came from, or why we have the limiting beliefs that we do. And so we have to be able to look at that and acknowledge that, because that's the only way that you're going to begin the healing process, is by acknowledging where those limiting beliefs about yourself and your situation came from. Most importantly, and this is going to be the hard part, and this is what we're going to work on next week. Next week is going to be really intense. But most importantly, we have to forgive not only those that are the reason for these limiting beliefs, but we have to work on forgiving ourselves. Because I know each and every one of us has that guilt or anger or sadness within ourselves. So not only do we have to work on forgiving those people that instilled those limiting beliefs in us, we have to learn that it's okay to forgive ourselves. It's okay to forgive. We have to learn to start forgiving ourselves for the things we can no longer do and feeling guilty about it. Forgiving ourselves because we can't spend as much time with our family. Forgiving ourselves, you know, because, you know, our bodies don't allow us to work anymore. And that is, you know, equally as important is forgiving those who instilled those limiting beliefs. Both of them are very, very difficult. And both of them are equally important. It sucks. Like, it sucks donkey balls. Well, forgiveness is probably one of the hardest things you'll do this whole workshop, and it is going to be one of the hardest things that you are going to do this entire workshop, is work on forgiveness. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be difficult. It is not going to be easy. And it's not going to happen in a day. It probably won't happen in a week or a month. And you'll probably have to do it multiple times. It's going to be one of the hardest things. But it is the cornerstone. It is the cornerstone to the healing process. It sucks to hear it. It sucks to say it. But it's the cornerstone of the healing process. So I know if you guys printed out part of the workbook, it has the stuff on forgiveness on there. We're going to go over that next week. So actually, no, I take that back. I do want you guys, for next week, I do want you guys to think about this. I do want you guys to think about this question. And really let it marinate for the week, because I want you, what we've worked on tonight, I want you to let marinate as well. But who or what in your life do you need to work on forgiving? And what does this forgiveness look like? Who or what in your life do you need to work on forgiving? And what does this forgiveness look like? And I want you to, this week, on top of the questions that we did today, I want you to really sit and marinate in this. Because this is the foundation and the cornerstone for what we are going to be doing next week, when we do part 2 on forgiveness. That's going to be the biggest, that's going to be the biggest thing. because forgiveness is not an easy thing to do. It's a multifaceted process, and you'll have to do it several times, and that is okay. Forgiveness is not a one-size-fits-all, but it is so vital to healing. To forgive someone, a situation, and most importantly yourself, can be very taxing and a draining task, but it is so necessary if you're to even begin the process of healing. I'm going to say that over and over and over again because it is so vitally important. And I'm going to say over and over and over again how much it absolutely sucks. But it is so necessary, and it is the cornerstone. Katie, you tell all of your clients this. Exactly. Exactly. And it does not look the same for every person. And I want to make myself very clear, and we're going to talk about this as well. Exactly. Exactly, Katie. Exactly. You know, and we're going to talk about this as well, forgiveness and boundaries. Because just because I think a lot of people, when they think of forgiveness, when they're getting into that, especially when you're working on forgiving others, that you think that because you forgave them, they have to be a part of your life or a part of your situation. And oh, Cheryl, it's good to see you. We'll see you next week, definitely. You know, but it's not, forgiveness is important, but boundaries are equally important. Just because you forgive someone does not mean they have to be in your life. I'm going to repeat that. Just because you forgive someone does not mean they have to be in your life. Boundaries are a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And if you haven't heard of the book, I absolutely recommend getting the book Boundaries by Dr. Townsend. So in my workshop, I'm going to be quoting a lot. When it comes to the forgiveness portion next week, I'm going to be doing a lot of quoting from Dr. Townsend because it's so vitally important. You know, the forgiveness portion of it, but also the boundaries portion of it, because it's equally oh, they're in Miami. It's equally important, you know, and the boundaries are equally important to the healing process. And I can give you an example. I cut my DNA buddies off. Cut them all off. Except for my aunt and my brother. They're all done. They're done. It's not that I don't forgive them, but I cannot have that kind of toxicity in my life. I can't, and I won't. Brene Brown. Oh, Brene Brown is really, really good. Thank you, Katie, for bringing that one up. Thank you for bringing that one up. I forgot about Brene Brown. But yeah, it's not that I didn't forgive my DNA buddies or what people would call family members, but the toxicity, can't do it. Can't do it. They're cut off. They're cut off. You know, so I want you guys to think about that. I really want you to think about that. And like I said, you know, I want you to marinate in this last question, but I want you to really work on the questions that we did for this workshop. Marinate in the first question that I gave you on forgiveness. Let that sit and marinate for a while. During the week, I really, really want you to think about that. It's really important. And then I want you to be working on those previous questions that we were doing during the workshop, because it's all going to tie in together. So it's all going to tie in together. It's really important. And, you know, like I said, you know, remember, you will get, I'm going to have to redo these. You know, you are going to get into it or out of it what you put into it. And I want so much for you guys to be able to see your worth and see your purpose and realize, you know, and realize that just because you're dealing with, you know, whatever situation it is you're dealing with, or dealing with rare and chronic disease, it does not mean you do not have worth or purpose, because you absolutely have immense worth, you have immense value, and you have purpose. And I want so much for you guys to see that and experience that. Do you guys have any questions for me? Comments, concerns, questions about life? And the worksheets for forgiveness, we will, I will have up, I will try, to have those up, I will try to have them up by Tuesday. So I will try to have those up by Tuesday. But otherwise, if you guys don't have any questions or anything for me, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I know how you could be spending your time, and you're choosing to spend your time with me, and you're choosing to spend your time. Not only are you choosing to spend your time here with me, but you're choosing to spend your time working on you and tapping into that amazing awesomeness that is yourself. And I am just so ecstatic and so thrilled for you guys to be able to do this. Absolutely, Katie. I'm so ecstatic and so just excited for you guys to be able to do this, because I want you guys to see, I want you guys to value you as much as I value you, and see yourselves how I see each and every one of you. And that will happen. It is a process, but it will happen. And I really, really hope you get a lot out of this workshop. But with that being said, I thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I know how you could be spending your time, and you chose to spend your time with me. It's something I encourage clients with. You can't heal what you don't reveal. I love it. I love it. Did I scare you, Gus? The cat doesn't give a damn. But it's okay. Mama's okay. Mama's okay. So that is awesome. But I just want to thank you guys so much for being on here with me. I really appreciate you. I'm going to get off. I'm going to rest. I've got more doctor's appointments tomorrow. Hopefully this crappy feeling that I feel right now, I'm sure it's because of the vaccine. Hopefully it won't last more than 24 hours because I'm already over it. So I love you guys very much. And I'm sure I'll be live again before Wednesday, but I will see you guys soon. You have a great evening.